in the most comfortable position we can find. So we'll start with those legs out straight and just relax into that comfortable position. This gentle class will take us through some movement and warmth and strength and flexibility, body awareness. So we'll just cover a little bit of everything today. So let's close our eyes gently and bring our focus and awareness into the breath. Using that breath as a method to connect and reconnect that mind and body. As we breathe in deeply, we want to feel that breath flow in through the lungs and expand through the rib cage. As we breathe out, we bring awareness and strength to our core center for heat and power. As we breathe in deeply, breathe that length into the joints and muscles, feeling the body grow longer as we breathe in, and stronger as we breathe out. Continuing that breath in through the nose and out through the nose, working to equalize that breath so we're breathing the same length in and the same length out. And we're in no hurry. We're slowing down the breath and really working to connect that mind and body. As we begin to add movement through class, bring awareness to the core, relaxing the shoulders and neck. If we're feeling any tension, go ahead and stop and rest. Find that power and strength again, and continue. So we'll breathe in deeply through the nose. And as we exhale, let's draw our right knee into the chest, holding on the shin or under the thigh, releasing the hip and low back. As we inhale, let's stretch the leg out as our arms reach overhead. As we exhale, that left knee comes into the chest, either over the shin or under the thigh, whatever feels best for that knee. Inhale, stretch the body out, long, full breath in. We're in no hurry here. Exhale, pull that right knee in. Feel the release in the low back and shoulders and hips. Inhale, deepening the breath, lengthening that torso through the shoulders and fingers. Exhale, left knee comes in, releasing the hips and low back. One more on each side. Inhale, feel the stretch and length. Maybe even dropping the chin, feeling a little more stretch in that spine. Exhale, pull the right knee in. And inhale, stretch long, full body. Exhale, left knee in. We're going to hold the left knee in and just add some circling in the ankle, feeling the release of any tension or stress in and around that foot. We'll circle back the other way. And then from here, as we breathe in, holding under the thigh. As we breathe out, pushing through the heel. Taking that heel all the way up to the sky, feeling the length in the back of the leg. Inhale, we'll pull the knee in toward the chest. So moving with that breath. Exhale, pushing that heel up. Inhale, drawing the knee back in. Last two. Exhale, long. Push through the heel. Activate the core as well, so there's no movement in the hips or pelvis or back. Breathe out. Lowering that leg straight down to the floor. Let's stretch those Relaxing the head, neck, and shoulders, and circling the ankle. Nice big circles. In both directions, finding that release in the shoulders, back, neck, all the way down to the ankle. Inhaling at center, holding under the thigh. As we exhale, push through the heel and straighten the back of the leg. Inhale, draw the knee back in toward the chest. Exhale, push that heel up to the sky. Feel that nice length from the tailbone up to the heel. Inhale deeply, knee to chest. Exhale, heel to sky. Feel the stretch and length in the leg. Last one. Inhale, draw the knee in. Exhale, take that leg all the way up. Feel that nice stretch and length. And then we'll lower that leg down, slowly pushing through that heel. Total full body stretch here. Inhale, nice length. As we exhale, let's pull left knee, then right knee into chest. We'll circle those knees around, just massaging that low back, feeling that heat and strength in the core center. Let's reverse the circle side to side, all the way around. And great. From there, let's ground those feet. We're going to roll slowly over onto our side and up into all fours. So gradually warming up those muscles. We'll meet on all fours here. So we want to tuck those toes. So we want to feel a pretty active stretch in those feet. Tucked toes, we're stacked knees under hips, hands under shoulders. For a few flows with cat and cow. So we'll inhale, slide the shoulders down, looking straight ahead. Exhale as we round the spine. Draw the belly in and up and look toward the thighs. Inhale, look straight ahead. Slide the shoulders down. Feel that length in the spine. Exhale, rounding it up. Draw the belly in tight. Creating that heat and strength in the core center. Flexibility through the spine. Inhale. Open the chest. Exhale. Make sure those fingers and toes are spread open wide. We want that nice base of support as we flow through the spine. Last one. Exhale, rounding all the way up. Inhaling down, open chest. Now we're going to pull into neutral. So right in between those two tilts where we have a solid core, we're going to stretch that left arm out and the right leg back for spinal balance. Let's inhale to all fours. Exhale, spinal balance, right arm, left leg. Push through the heel, reach through the fingertips. Inhale at center. Exhale, flow, left arm, right heel. Inhale, center. We're in no hurry. We want to remain focused on that breath and focused on our movements. Inhale, feel that strong connection to the earth on all fours. Exhale, feel the length and energy flow from those fingertips through the heel. Inhale, grounded at center. Core is strong. Exhale, length. Last one. On the left arm, right leg, we're going to hold it though. Hold it for balance. Feel that strength. Little pulses of the arm and leg up. Feeling the movement in the hip and shoulder for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Grounded back at center, meaning hands and feet, but also that core. is strong. Now right arm and left leg, straight out. Little pulses up, just getting into those hip extensors a little bit more. And the shoulders and back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll bring it back to all fours. And then release those toes and sink back into child's pose. So we want those hips to push back toward the heels and those fingertips to reach long in front. So as we reach those fingertips long, our hands stay planted. As we breathe in, let's shift the weight and body forward and lower to our belly. So from here, our feet stay connected as we lift the chest. Let's push the arms back. Feel the muscles in the triceps, the back of the arms, as well as that core. We'll bring the hands right under those shoulders. Elbows are pinned toward our sides. Core is strong as we push all the way back up to our child's pose. So we're sinking back, relaxing head, neck, and shoulders. Let's inhale again. Shift the body forward. Elbows come right by the sides. We're in no hurry to get to the floor. We'll get there. Use those muscles as we inhale. Push those arms back. Feel that stretch. And then hands come down. Exhale as we push all the way back to child's pose. Now as we flow, if you need to take a break and stay in child's pose, or just rest at all, get a drink of water, please do. Listen to your body. Inhale, stretch, lift the chest and arms. Feel that length and strength. Exhale, push all the way back. So we're creating a lot more heat now with this little flow, so continue with the breath. One breath, one movement. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the chest and arms, stretch open. Exhale, push all the way back to our child's pose. 2 more times through. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, stretch, lengthen, open the chest. Exhale, push all the way back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Use the core. Use those triceps. Lowering slowly. Inhale to cobra with those tricep arms. Exhale, pushing all the way back. Let's hold this child's pose for just a few long, deep breaths. Try to stretch those fingertips out a little bit more. Fingers are long. Head, neck, and shoulders are relaxed. Great. Now we'll keep that nice base in those hands. We're going to tuck those toes and draw the belly in as we take the hips up toward the sky to our first downward facing dog. Then we're going to come back down to the knees. Inhale, look straight ahead. Exhale, draw the belly in strong. Lift the hips up to the sky. Back into that downward facing dog. Again, lowering the knees down. This should feel good in those feet and toes. And then we'll lift back up. We'll do that just one more time to see if we can release in those legs and calves and feet a little bit more. Exhale. Now we'll hold our downward facing dog and alternate those knees, pedaling out those feet. Feel that nice lift in the heel. Core is strong. For 3, 2, and 1. Great. Now we'll stay grounded for 2 more long, deep breaths. Always the option to stay in child's pose if this feels a little bit too intense for the body. Let's come down to the knees. Come all the way up now to kneeling camel. So just a little counter pose here, lifting and opening that chest. We want to feel that stretch from the knees up the front side of the body. We don't want to force any of these positions. We want to allow that body to stretch without too much force here. Great, we'll stay nice and open. And from here, hands to hips, core is strong. We'll take that right foot in front. Now we want to make sure that the knee does not begin to extend over the toes as we sink our hips lower. So maybe shifting that foot back a little bit more and active in that back foot. So we want to fan those toes open. Hips are facing forward. Knee is stacked. And our arms reach up to the sky. So we want to really stretch from those toes up through those fingertips. Even taking that pinky finger and turning it in just slightly and pushing those hands back just slightly will feel really nice in the shoulders and along that side. Great. From here, we're going to bring our fingertips to the floor and hold it here. Now, if you have blocks close by, I'll show you with the blocks. It feels really good to use the blocks here if you can't quite get to that floor. So you have that nice dynamic tension with the hands into the blocks if you can't quite get to that floor. So we have the option to stay here, very active, with the knee down. Or we can come into that runner's lunge here. So that's just a little bit more intense in that right leg and hip. Core is really actively working. Again, we can adjust those blocks. It feels actually really nice sometimes to use the blocks versus always trying to reach the floor. When we're always trying to reach that floor, we tend to strain in our neck and our shoulders. This way we get that nice release and relax in the shoulders. So we'll lower that back knee down and reach those arms back up to the sky. From here now, that left elbow is just going to come across to that right thigh. And we're going to stack the hands. So we're just in a little gentle twist. So we want just that rib cage to rotate as we bring it down and stack the hands. Make sure that the hips don't do this as we begin to twist. We want to stay low in those hips. So we feel that nice stretch in the left hip flexor, that whole front side of the body here. From here back to center as we kind of untwist those ribs, reach to the sky. And then we'll bring our hands back down. Let's shift back into our child's pose. Tucking our toes, lifting those hips up into our downward facing dog. Before we go to the other side, let's do a few heel raises here. Play around with this downward facing dog, lifting heels high and low. Couple more, nice long breaths. And then we'll lower gently back down to the knees. And coming up, core is strong into that kneeling camel once again. So it feels good to just open back up. Opening the chest maybe the second time through feels a little bit looser, more open in the hips and chest. And back to center. We'll keep the hands on the hips as we switch. And now bring that left foot in front. So we want to make sure it's far enough forward so that knee, when we come forward, stays over the ankle. We want to get that nice hip in the stretch in the hips. So we want to push the hips forward and then reach those arms up. So as we reach through those fingertips, we can even take those pinky fingers and turn them into midline. So our hands are almost facing behind us, and then push, and that feels really good and through the front of the shoulder. We want to continue that long, deep breath, especially in these really open positions where we can feel our ribs really opening and stretching with our lungs. Stay nice and grounded here, reaching up. And then we'll bring the hands down, either to the floor here, if that flexibility is there, or to our blocks. It feels really good sometimes to just raise that floor up to us. So we'll stay grounded here, feel that nice stretch. Or play around with that blocks. Maybe it feels better to be a little bit more lifted. You get a little bit more stretch in through the hips this way. We can stay here or tuck those back toes and come into that runner's lunge. We want to make sure that the chin isn't sticking out way in front of us here. So kind of leading with the top of the head. Core is strong. Nice long deep breaths. So really building strength in the core and those hips here. For a few more long breaths. And then we're lowering back down to meet on that knee. Let's be very active in that back foot. We'll separate those toes, feel that nice stretch in the arch. Reach those arms back up to the sky. And then we'll come into our twist so that right elbow comes over to the thigh and we'll stack those hands. Now don't let those hips come up behind. Try to keep those hips down low. We'll feel a lot more stretch that way. Good deep long breaths. And gently coming out of that twist now, reaching up. And then we'll bring the hands back down and into our child's pose. Sinking way back into those heels now as those fingertips reach long. Engage those abdominals. Let's come up slowly into our downward facing dog. Sinking those hips, reaching the hips up to the sky as we sink our heels down. Good breathing. Now we're going to step those feet all the way up to those hands. And just relax here in our forward fold. Again, if those blocks are close by and we want to use those blocks as our floor here, we can do that as well. It's much better to have those hands connected to something versus just hanging in outer space here. So we want to be connected to the blocks or that floor and really let the head, neck, and shoulders relax here. Let's soften our knees just a little bit and roll it up slowly, one vertebra at a time. All the way up, realigning that spine here. And we'll ground those feet. So we're meeting now in mountain pose. So we want to feel really strong in those feet. Really span open those toes wide. Make sure those blocks are off the mat and out of the way. So we want to fan those toes and get that nice base of support. We're going to squeeze the shoulders back and fan those fingers open wide as well. So we'll take a giant breath in, circle sweep up to the sky. As we exhale now, we're going to forward fold. So our knees can be soft, that's a little easier on the back, or if that flexibility is there, we can straighten the legs a little bit more, and then we're going to circle sweep back up. Really fan those fingers and toes. Exhale, going to bring those hands to heart center. Hold it here. Shoulders are pushing down and we're pushing gently into those hands. We're just gonna alternate lifting those heels now. So you get a little bit more stretch and release into those feet. So it should feel pretty good in there. Get that nice stretch. 2 more. And great. Now we're going to lift up onto those toes. As we elevate those heels, we're gonna open up those hands. Hold it there on those toes. Really grounding through the balls of those feet. Chest is open. Now we're gonna come back down. Ground those feet and bring the hands back down. Core is strong. Shoulders are down. Fan those toes open wide. Lift those heels. Then begin to stretch those arms out. Great. And then we'll bring it back down. Ground those feet and hands. Now from here, let's take that right knee and turn it out. So just our tippy toes are touching. We can even lift that foot off the floor if that feels okay for balance. We just want to make sure that we're really steady on that supporting foot. Our core and hips are open. So we don't want to be collapsed here at all. We want to be open here and really strong in the back. So opening up into our tree pose. Our fingers are open wide like little branches and little leaves on the tree. So core is lifted. We're going to squeeze the elbows now behind the back. Just to make sure we're standing nice and tall. Then reach those arms back up. Let's do that again. Keep that knee open. So we're opening the hips, opening the chest as we squeeze that back. Inhale up. Great. Now as the arms come down, we're going to just take that knee and bring it toward the front now. So we're either touching the toes to the shin or to the floor. So a little bit more support here, a little more challenge to balance here. We're gonna open those hands, core is strong, and finish out that balance. From here, squeeze the back. We're now going to hip hinge, so the toes come behind us here. So we can hold it here in that kind of modified airplane arms in Warrior 3. Or begin to lift that leg up. I didn't know if that was me or you guys. Lift that leg up into that Warrior 3. So again, modify here, or begin to challenge a little bit more. We can even do it in between, tap and lift if that feels better. So kind of challenging with that flow. Core is strong. We should feel that left leg really working here. Up. 2 more. Relax the neck. And great. We'll bring those feet all the way back to center. Grounded. Inhale up. Let's do a few forward folds just to release any tension. Full exhalation, circle sweep back up. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep back up. And we'll bring those hands to heart center. And now turning that left knee out. So we're just on those tippy toes. Core is strong. We can even lift that foot if that feels okay. Begin to stretch those arms, fingers open wide. Squeezing the back in here. And then opening back up. So you want to stay really open in the front side. Really strong in the back. And up. And down. Good. Holding it up. Core is strong, lifting tall. And then we'll release. As those arms come down, let's bring that knee in. So we can keep the knees touching or the toes to the floor. So we want to really squeeze that back open, chest, and even adding a little bit more to that balance. This time, keep it here. We're going to just slide those arms straight up. Really good. Amazing. And then we'll bring the arms back down. We'll take those toes behind and hinge forward with those airplane arms. So this is a great modification here. We're barely touching the back toes down, or we begin to lift it up, working to bring it into that warrior three. We can even have the taps too, just to kind of get that reconnection to the floor. Relax those shoulders and neck muscles, really challenging that balance. 2 more. And 1. Hold it all the way down. So good. Big breath up. Exhale out. Big breath up. Exhale out. Now we're going to stand wide with our toes turned out. So after all that balancing, let's open up those knees. Really fan open those toes and come into a little yoga squat here. So those knees are over the ankles, not falling forward. Use those outer hips. Let's inhale and exhale as we sink low. Inhale up. Exhale up. So we're firing up those thighs a little bit more. Reach up and lift. Reach up and lift. Last one. We're going to hold it down. Little presses, just tiny pulses. So getting a little bit of that faster movement in there. Yoga is mostly slow and long, but we want to get those little faster twitch fibers every once in a while too. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now push those arms out. We're going to stay low. Good. Hold it there. Shoulders down. Point the fingers down and up. Oh, we should feel those thighs warming up a little bit. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it all the way up. Now as we exhale, let's turn that left foot in slightly, right foot out into a warrior 2. So our legs should be nice and warm now. We're just going to add to it. Hips are low, knee is over ankle, arms are open and looking to that right side. So our whole front body is open, our whole backside is squeezing. So really good solid warrior 2 pose. We're going to move the waist just a little bit. Kind of diving into that core a little bit here. My lower body stays really stable. Just that rib cage is moving. Super slight movement. Stay grounded. Let's reverse that warrior. So we're sliding that left hand down, reaching those right fingertips up toward the sky. Holding for just a few long breaths. Make sure that knee doesn't begin to straighten on you. Stay very low. Strengthening in those hips. Then we'll do an extended side angle here. We can even hold it here if that feels better for the shoulders. Or reach it here. Or even that full length. Just make sure that the shoulder is not in front of the face. We should be all the way open and then stretching more over the ear. Make sure the hips stay low. Good long breath. And then we'll come back to our warrior 2, so stay low. And then we'll straighten up. Turn both feet in. Take a giant breath up. Exhale, we're switching sides now, fanning those feet open wide into our warrior 2 on the other side. So we want a nice bend in that knee and our hips low. So just avoid this position, the sassy hips. We want those hips down low. Arms are open, looking to the left. Make sure we're not collapsed here. We're really squeezing the back and open. Moving that waist a little, getting into that core. Try to keep those hips and legs grounded as we move that waist forward, back. Stay grounded, reverse that warrior. Take that whole left side body, stretch it up to the sky away from those grounded hips. Fingers are long. Good breathing. And then we'll come down into our side angle, even holding here and working really on that back to keep the chest open, or we can lift the hand up. As long as we can keep the shoulder open, we can stretch it over that ear. Make sure those hips stay low and breathe deeply. Should feel those legs warming up a little bit. We'll come back up to our warrior two. And then straightening that left leg. So those toes are both facing in slightly. As we breathe in and up, we can exhale, forward fold from here. So if the blocks are close by, we can come into the blocks. We can come to the floor. We can hinge and bring our forehead to the block. Play around with this pose a little bit and just allow that body to really stretch into those hips as we use that core to pull that torso down maybe a little closer to the thighs. Another option is to stretch those arms out long in front, almost like we're in a downward facing dog with very wide hips and legs. Feeling that nice stretch from the shoulders, all the way down to those fingertips and up to the hips. Great. Now we're going to shift the weight slightly forward to those hands and walk those feet in. So we're on the toes and on those hands. So we're sort of hovering here with the core is really strong. We're just holding it here. Maybe even dropping a little bit lower into a hover plank here on all fours, just above. So we're on those toes. Knees are hovering. We should feel that core engage for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we'll bring those knees down all the way out to our child's pose. Reaching those fingertips long. And then we'll come up into seated. So we'll sit right on those sit bones and bring the soles of the feet together. So we're sitting tall and then bringing the body forward. So versus butterfly, this is more of a diamond shape. We want to bring our body forward into that fold and then relax here. So using those abdominals to bring the body forward and just resting the hands under those feet. We want to breathe and feel that release in the hips and low back, relaxing the head and neck and shoulders. From here, we're going to come up slowly, grab hold of our big toes and walk our heels in. Now, for some, it may feel good to just hold it here and work on getting that rounded back straight and puffing that chest up. We're working to sit right on those sit bones, so this is one option. Or we can hover those feet off the floor for next option, or begin to straighten the legs out to kind of a modified boat, or even a straight leg wide boat. So lots of different options to play around with. We want to make sure that the back is strong and pushing the chest up, and we're not collapsed in that low back. Just a few more deep breaths as we really work on that back and core strength. And we'll release those feet down and stretch those legs out long. We'll breathe in, lift that body up, and breathe out into a forward fold. So we can hold the toes Or this is also a good time to use that strap if it's close by to sort of extend those arms. Again, it's like touching the toes is just as exciting as touching the floor. We all want to do it, but it also can strain the neck and shoulders. So using that strap feels really good on the neck. So we can really engage the muscles in the back and core while we stretch versus just trying to strain in our neck and shoulders to get to those toes. So as we breathe, maybe we're coming forward a little bit more and letting the head, neck, and shoulders go. Holding for a few more long, deep breaths. If you feel any tension in the back on this one, go ahead and soften the knees just a little bit. By softening the knees, it will release the hips and low back. Great. And releasing those feet. We'll sit tall and roll back slowly, all the way down, slow and controlled. So lying down, let's take a giant stretch from those toes to those fingertips. And then we'll bring those arms back down and bend those knees, really grounding the feet. We want to lift those hips up now to a bridge. Holding that bridge, we can even walk those hands down a little bit closer to those feet, if that feels okay. We can slide the block underneath the hips if that works too. That feels good to kind of just relax here. Kind of letting the low back and hips. So the blocks are really fun to play around with. Make sure those feet are fanned open wide and we're really grounded. And then we'll lower down slowly from that bridge all the way down. Let's take our arms open wide, palms are facing up, and we'll take both knees over to the right as we exhale and look to the left. Inhale, bring those knees up to center. Exhale, knees over left, looking to the right. And now taking just that right foot open, so the soles of the feet are together in our reclining butterfly. So this should feel really good with the soles of the feet together, our hips are open, our chest is open. And we can close our eyes and bring our awareness back into our breath. Beginning to slow down the breath again. As we work in that restorative breath, feel any tightness or tension that may remain in that body and try to breathe length into it and breathe it out and blow away the stress and tension as we exhale. We'll gently begin to straighten the legs out so they're just slightly wider than the mat, and our arms come down just slightly wider than the mat. So our palms are facing up and our feet are just relaxed out to the sides of the body. Closing the eyes as we breathe in deeply, we want to feel that restorative breath flow from the top of the head all the way down throughout the entire body. As we exhale, we want to blow away any tension or stress, allowing our body a chance to completely relax in our final resting pose, Shavasana. Allowing our mind to stay in the present. Maybe continuing to follow that breath throughout the body, creating more length and release, but allowing our body a chance to relax. Taking a few more long, quiet breaths. And begin to wiggle those fingers and toes. Circle the wrists and ankles as we bring awareness and movement back. We're remaining relaxed with that movement. We'll bend those knees slowly and then roll over onto one side and just cradle the head as we begin to slowly reawaken. Keeping one hand connected to the floor and one hand cradling the head. And then when you're ready to come up, we'll meet back up in easy seated. Sitting comfortably on those sit bones, let's turn the palms up and just touch that pinky finger to thumb, or pointer finger to thumb. Stay relaxed, closing the eyes for just a few more breaths as we reconnect to that body once again. Allowing that blood to flow and redistribute throughout the body easily and freely. We'll bring our hands together at heart center. As we inhale, let's reach those arms lightly up to the sky as if they're floating up. Looking to the sky, opening those eyes as we exhale, bring those hands back to heart center. Meeting at heart center. Thank you for joining today. That was great. Namaste. Thanks for coming. We'll see you soon.